I'd like to ask some questions about yourself. Could you tell me about your interest in aviation?
Oh yes, my interest in aviation is a hobby interest. I pilot for pleasure, but also my job is teach to teenagers air navigation.
Okay, tell me more about the pleasure you get from flying.
Oh, it's a very interesting question. I think piloting makes people free. I like to be in the air. I like the challenge in piloting an aircraft, and I like discover new places.
What are the challenges of being a pilot?
The challenge is facing new experiences every time you fly, because every flight is different.
So do you enjoy some flights more than others?
Yes, I enjoy flying with not a good weather, but it's not a good thing to do.
Why do you enjoy those flights?
Because I think it's funnier than a quite simple flight.
How will your flying change in the future?
It's another good question. It's a general question, not about my...
about your flying.
About my flight. Okay, I hope I will can fly more than I do now, but it's a money thing, so I can only hope.
Now I'd like to ask you some questions about aviation communication.
Yes.
Before takeoff, what do pilots need to consider and discuss about the flight?
With a traffic controller or?
Yes, or other pilots.
Other pilots. Okay, then every flight has to be planning accurately. If the pilot is a single pilot, he has to be this alone. If he has a co-pilot or a passenger who is a pilot, he can do it with the other person. And with the controller, of course, before the takeoff, he has to communicate properly what the planning is, the destination, how many people are on board, the type of the aircraft, the entrance of the airplane.
Why is it important to give those pieces of information to the controller?
In case of emergency, the search and rescue system has to know what they are researching. So how many people, if the aircraft has some recognizing colors, or what kind of aircraft, of course, and what was the route, because if the airplane crash, the most possibility is it has crashed on the route.
When communicating with ATC, which factors sometimes make clear communication difficult?
Bad weather, turbulences, or some radio problem, interferences in the radio system.
Tell me about the weather problems. How does that affect communication?
In small airplanes, if there are strong turbulence, Strong turbulences can shake the airplane. Also, the wind can make noise, and it can affect the hearing of the communication.
So how do pilots manage that difficulty?
Asking to repeat the communication, for example, or asking to wait for pass the zone of turbulence, and of course ask to more communication.
You also mentioned radio problems. If there's a radio malfunction during flight, what would you do?
It depends on the level of difficulties in hearing and direct communication. But one of the things the pilot has to do is, for example, switch off and switch on the radio, or try another frequency, change something, and of course he can fly out of the zone of the difficult zone.
If there's a problem with the radio functioning, what can you do?
The rule is, if you can't hear properly, or if you can't hear anything, you have to continue with blind communication and go to your destination, not change anything about your destination.
When communicating in emergency situations, what extra problems could there be?
The emergency situation plus communication, that is a big problem.
Yes.
If there is an emergency situation plus the communication problem, I think I never managed the thing, and I don't want to manage this thing.
This question is about how much more difficult it is to communicate if you have an emergency.
Yes, the problem is the pilot has to continue with blind communication, because he doesn't know if the controller can hear him or not, so he has to act exactly as if the communication problem doesn't exist.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to part 2. So you will respond to recordings in which a pilot or controller is speaking in a non-routine situation. If you need to hear a recording again, you must ask. You will have 20 seconds to respond. Okay?
Okay.
It's a task card. In part A, you will hear 6 short recordings. You need to report the messages fully, and there are 2 things to report. What was the message? Who do you think was speaking, a pilot or a controller? Okay?
Okay.
Situation 1. The passenger's still not come. Please call security.
Report what you can.
Can I hear it again, please?
Okay, I'll play it once more.
Situation 1. The passenger's still not come. Please call security.
Report what you can.
The passengers doesn't come, and the person asking for security. It's pilot speaking.
Thank you.
Situation 2.
Could you confirm that your injured passenger stopped bleeding?
Report what you can.
Can you confirm the passenger is still bleeding? and is controller speaking.
Thank you.
Situation 3.
A hailstorm has caused damage to the windshield. We will not be able to take off.
Report what you can.
Can I hear it again, please?
I'll play it once more.
Situation 3.
A hailstorm has caused damage to the windshield. We will not be able to take off.
Report what you can.
Okay, the pilot is speaking. There are turbulence, and they are unable to take off.
Thank you.
Situation 4.
Our screens are now working. We can see you again.
Report what you can.
Okay, it's a controller speaking, and he said the screens are working now, and so he is able to see, I suppose, the airplane.
Thank you.
Situation 5.
What's happening? An aircraft just passed in front of us.
Report what you can.
What's happening? An airplane just passing in front of us, and it's pilot speaking.
Thank you.
Situation 6.
Is there lightning in the vicinity? Is a quick weather update available?
Report what you can.
Can I hear it again, please?
Yes, I'll play it once more.
Situation 6.
Is there lightning in the vicinity? Is a quick weather update available?
Report what you can.
The lightning hurt the airplane, and there's something not available more.
Okay, thank you.
And the pilot speaking, of course.
Thank you. So, return the task card over, and here's a pen.
Thank you.
Now, in part B, you will hear 4 longer recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Each speaker will describe a problem, say what they need, and give some extra details. You need to report the messages fully. The more details you provide, the better. You can take notes. Okay?
Okay.
Situation 1.
We are entering icing conditions. Our anti-icing system is faulty. We would like to descend flight level 250 as soon as possible to get out of this.
Report what you can.
Can I hear it again, please?
I'll play it once more.
Situation 1.
We are entering icing conditions. Our anti-icing system is faulty. We would like to descend flight level 250 as soon as possible to get out of this.
Report what you can.
Okay, they are experiencing icy conditions, and the ice condition system is faulty. They need to descend to flight level 250 as soon as possible to go out of this situation.
Thank you.
Situation 2.
You're entering airspace that has been closed due to hot air balloon activity. Turn left to 180 immediately and state your intentions. We don't have a flight plan for you.
Report what you can.
Okay, can I hear it again, please?
Yeah, play it once more.
Situation 2.
You're entering airspace that has been closed due to hot air balloon activity. Turn left to 180 immediately and state your intentions. We don't have a flight plan for you.
Report what you can.
Okay, the airplane is entering in the airspace closed due to air balloon activities. They have to turn to 10 and the rest.
Okay, thank you.
Situation 3.
We have given the asthmatic passengers some medication from the onboard medical kit, but he doesn't seem to be responding to it. Can you speak to a doctor?
Report what you can.
Okay, can I hear it again, please?
Okay, play once more.
Situation 3.
We have given the asthmatic passengers some medication from the onboard medical kit, but he doesn't seem to be responding to it. Can you speak to a doctor?
Report what you can.
Okay, there is a passenger with an asthmatic problem, and and they can't use the kit. They need to speak with the doctor.
Thank you.
Situation 4. It looks like we've got a flap malfunction. We think we're going to try landing on runway 17 right, but please hold on while we check if the landing distance is sufficient.
Report what you can.
Can I hear it again, please?
Yes, play once more.
Situation 4. It looks like we've got a flap malfunction. We think we're going to try landing on runway 17 right, but please hold on while we check if the landing distance is sufficient.
Report.
Okay. There is a problem with the flap, and they want to use the 17 right runway, but they have to hold on because they need to check the landing distance.
Okay, thank you. Can I take the task card and pen back, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Now, in part C, you'll hear 3 recordings in more general situations. Listen to the speaker and ask some questions to find out more about the situation. Ask as many questions as you can.
Situation 1. We need some help. The engine started losing power.
Ask questions.
Okay, have you lost all power? Is the engine working currently, or is losing completely the power?
What advice would you give to this speaker?
Try to check the second engine, if you have it. Try to keep the airplane with the security speed as more as you can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Situation 2.
We have a problem. We need to get the passenger off the plane quickly.
Ask questions.
Do you think the passenger is dangerous for other people? Is the passenger drunk? Is the passenger behaviors violent or not?
What advice would you give to this speaker?
Try to speak with this person. Try to keep him calm, as calm as possible. Try to waste time waiting for the police.
Thank you.
Situation 3.
We have a situation. We couldn't contain the fire.
Ask questions.
Can I hear it again, please?
Yes, I'll play it once more.
Situation 3.
We have a situation. We couldn't contain the fire.
Ask questions.
Where is the fire exactly? Are the passengers in danger? Is the fire on cabin? Do you have a fire extinguisher nearby your position?
What advice would you give to this speaker?
Try to isolate more people you can. Try to be safe. Don't do stupid things.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to part 3. Now I'm going to show you a picture. Please describe what you can see. You have 30 seconds.
Okay. There is a stair nearby the open door of an aircraft, but there is a man out of the window trying to hiking the airplane or going down. It's not clear. and in front of the stair there is the fire engine, so I can't think there were fire on board or near to the airplane.
Thank you. Now look at this second picture. I'd like to ask you some questions about picture B. What is the passenger doing?
He is whipping down from the airplane. There are other people waiting for him.
What type of situation is this?
An evacuation situation. Probably due to a fire on board.
What do you think will happen next?
All the passengers will be bring to a safe place, and I think the fire brigade will check the airplane to see if there is a danger for all the place around.
Both pictures show emergency training situations. What are the main differences between them?
The first one is an emergency situation where the evacuation is not standard. The second one is a standard situation, so I think the second one had been managed better than the first one.
Why is the situation in A not standard?
Because it's not normal. There is a person attached like this on the airplane.
Okay. So what is the same about the two situations?
The people seem quite calm, and there are a lot of people watching what is happening.
In your opinion, which situation looks more serious?
The first one, the A one.
Why do you say that? You mentioned fire in picture B.
Yes, but in the picture B is all under control. In the situation A, there's something not under control.
Okay, thank you. Can I have the pictures back, please?
Yes, you can.
So now let's discuss emergency situations.
Yes.
When is a situation an emergency situation?
When? There's an emergency situation when the pilot hasn't not completely the control of the airplane, where the airplane is going, or if the airplane works properly.
What can cause the lack of control of the airplane?
If there is a problem at one of the engine, or problem at a system, it depends on the system, because not all system failure cause an emergency situation. The vital systems, failure of a vital system cause an emergency situation. For example, pressurization can be an emergency situation, a failure of the system, of course.
So which emergency situation should passengers be most worried about?
Fire on board, certainly. An engine failure, if the passengers can see that. Depressurization is very, very dangerous for all people on board.
Why?
Because it causes problem in breathing, and if the airplane is at a high level, a sudden depressurization can cause an explosion.
How might a scenario like depressurization be caused?
A failure of the system, for example, or a crash, but it's not a really frequent crash in the air.
What would cause a crash in the air?
A crash in the air, two airplanes, collision, for example, that's very, very difficult, or a broken part in the airplane, but it's also very, very difficult. The failure system is more possible, but it's a maintenance problem, I suppose, so it's not, hopefully, and luckily it's not so frequent.
In what ways do aviation personnel treat depressurization differently from other emergencies?
By an emergency descent, they need to descend as soon as possible, as quick as possible, to try to take the people alive.
Can pilots descend immediately, or do they need a clearance?
For emergency situation, they don't need a clearance. If they can, they have to advise, of course. But an emergency is an emergency.
Do you agree that the frequency of emergencies during flight is likely to drop in line with technological development or other changes?
The emergency frequency is manageable with control rules and every emergency is an experience to be better every time. So now the navigation and the situations are less frequent because of the past experience, and navigation is safer because of the last problems and last emergency.
How are problems in the past reported so that the industry could improve?
Every accident causing death, it's an experience. I think about, for example, the terrible accident of Tenerife changed everything in the rules.
How would you suggest the aviation industry eases the anxiety of some passengers about flight safety?
Easier, sorry?
How would you suggest the aviation industry eases the anxiety of some passengers?
The anxiety of passengers
about flight safety.
About informing passengers. More the passengers are informed about the conditions of the flights, more they feel safe, I think.
So how would you suggest the industry informs passengers better?
By marketing, by, for example, some information, written information to give to the passengers before the flight. It can be everything. Also giving the passengers the impression the flight attendant care about them.
Thank you very much. That's the end of the test.
Thank you to you.